So I'm Jason Schmidt. I'm the city treasurer. First of all, thank you so much for coming tonight, and most importantly, investing in yourself and your future. So I've been the treasurer now for about 4 months, and this is a second of the programs we had. So we're going to now go into a broader 4-month module, one course per month that really focuses on starting with your values, which we're going to talk about tonight, and how those course through your decision-making process, and then what your financial options are that are available. So, the reason why I started this has a lot to do with a story. It was great to hear everybody's story about what they've done and why they're here. Because I'm going to tell you a story about my grandparents, who I grew up with. So my grandparents were a Depression-era family farm in Mississippi. They moved north in the Great Northern Migration, and my grandfather was a factory worker, and my grandmother was a paraplegic. So she couldn't work. She sold a little bit of Avon for a living. That was her life, right? So they cared about investing in their family. And fundamentally, I will never forget, the thing I remember about my grandparents, because they lived on a fixed income when they were retired, is they had 3 or 4 envelopes total. They were all white envelopes. They would get their check. They'd cash the check. There'd be $1,100 in that check every single month. And they'd put $200 away for the mortgage payment. They'd put $300 away for the groceries for the month. They'd put away $150 for the utilities, right through the list. And everything came out of those checking accounts, or their version of a checking account, right? Those white envelopes. Because they had been raised in a family that had nothing and did the exact same thing during the Depression and counted every single penny. So that drove their own philosophy about how they thought about savings and spending. And I know for a fact that if the grocery bill went up and inflation got higher, there was a little envelope we had. It was $100 every month that was for fun. That was, by the way, that included getting a pizza at Pizza Hut, etc. So their version of fun was eating out anything, smallest things were in kind of the fun category. And I assure you, if grocery bills got too high, the extra $100 ended up going to subsidize those grocery bills. So that's how they thought about their own philosophy on money. And to think about how that impacts you. So many years later, I ultimately went to Harvard twice. I was the first kid in my family to go to college. My parents were small, blue-collar entrepreneurs, owned a small family business, turned wrenches for a living. And I inherited that philosophy. While I don't have 4 white envelopes sitting there in our home, my husband and I do the exact same thing when we think about our budgeting every single month. We think about each of those envelopes in our own mind and how we transfer them back and forth, because he grew up similar to me. His family lived in Modesto, California. They moved here during the Depression. Same thing, they literally came west across the Dust Bowl instead of going north. They were from the south too. Settled in Modesto. And they were cannery workers, carpenters, school teachers, and they didn't have a lot of extra money either. So they had this exact same philosophy. And so it was interesting when we got married, one of the things I was most concerned about is, well, we think about money in a very similar, very different way. Because I always hear the 3 things that you fight about, right, in relationships. It's money, sex, and the kids. But money is number 1 by a mile. And so we were we had that conversation very early on in the course of our dating life. We were friends before we started dating. In the course of our dating life, about how do we think about money and our philosophy on money. And fortunately for us, we have a very similar philosophy, and it's worked great. Now, the only time it doesn't work great, by the way, there's one person in our family who has a very different philosophy on money. So we have an 85-pound English cream retriever named Reagan, and I assure you, if he does not get his six cups of kibble a day, there is going to be hell to pay from all of us. So he thinks about his monetary strategy a little bit differently than the rest of us do. But I tell you that story is kind of a little bit of a funny anecdote about how much our own psychology drives our decision. And today, Adolfo's going to spend a lot of time with you talking about what your own philosophy is on money, and more importantly, how that thinks about how you shape and structure your goals from a financial perspective. And at the end of this, we're going to do an exercise around SMART goals. Unfortunately, I can't stay for the whole time tonight because I'm running to another community event, but I know that you are in good hands. It's a great presentation, and I'm so excited to hear next month what you learned from this presentation. I hope you all come back.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. All right, so we're going to start with today's class, but before I go into that, I do want to talk about SparkPoint OC. So like we mentioned, SparkPoint OC provides this financial literacy classes. So SparkPoint OC is a free financial coaching program that's for anyone in Orange County, 18 years and older. So if you want to reduce your debt, you want to increase your credit score, you want to increase your savings, You meet with a financial coach. They make a plan with you, a personalized plan. You can meet with them in person or through Zoom, whichever one is better for you. If you are interested, you can scan the QR code or go to the website. They're going to link you to the closest location to you. So we do have 9 locations throughout Orange County. Other resources that we have with Orange County United Way. So we do have Upskill OC. So it provides training to anyone that's 18 to 28 years old. So they do provide a scholarship. It covers some of the tuition for the program that they want to join. If there's any money left over from that, they can use it for any equipment that they need or any materials that they need. The other one that's coming up is going to be the OC Free Tax Prep. So that's to file your free taxes. We have over 30 locations throughout Orange County. It's completely free. If you are interested in that, you are able to see the locations by going to that link. The locations are up for 2026, so you can book your appointment for that. And then the other one, we have 211 OC. So 211 OC is a resource center. So if you dial 211, someone's going to answer. If you need a resource for food, for housing, transportation, utilities, they're going to connect you to an agency in Orange County that provides that service. So you can also text, or you can also visit the website, 211oc.org, and you are able to access those resources. Any questions on these resources that we have available? No? Okay. So moving on for today's class. So we're going to be talking about your money values and influences. So for your values, sometimes we don't think how those values impact the way that we see money and the way that we spend money. But it does impact those things. But before we go into how it impacts you, what are values to you? What are some values that you have? What do you value? Home, okay, yeah, home. Anyone else? Family, yeah.
My car.
Your car?
To work.
Yeah, no, yeah, your car, yeah.
To make money.
Yeah.
Good memories.
Memories, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty much everything that you mentioned does impact the way that we see money. As some of you have mentioned, your home, your car, family, memories, that does impact the way that you spend money. Because if you value your home, you're going to spend money to fix your home. You're going to spend money to make your home look good. If you value memories, you're going to spend money on making those memories. If you value your family, you're going to spend money on your family. So it does impact the way that you see and spend your money. And then for values, it doesn't have to be only people. It could be things like we mentioned, the car, the home, or places as well. And we're going to start with an activity. So on the handout that you have in front of you, it's a survey. So if you can please complete the survey. It has different questions. It has 10 questions. So if you can take like 5 minutes to answer those questions, and then we're going to see the results. We're going to move on. If you're still working on the survey, you can continue working on that. So for the answers, let's say that the most one that you selected was A. So it's money as fear. So many people carry fear or guilt around money. So they may feel like they can overspend, or maybe that they can't spend money. The money may be bad. But we have to see money as a tool. We have to understand money could be a tool that can help us with our spending, with our savings. That's the way that we can maybe change our mindset. If you select the mostly B, money as happiness, you may see that you may think the money is the key to happiness, also for relief. And it may be true, but it may also be just for a short time. So money is not about all of the happiness. There's other ways that we can have happiness. We also have to understand that money is a way for us to support ourselves. It's a way to support our well-being, for us to be happy, but I also understand that it doesn't create happiness. If you mostly select the C, money as status, that means that you may think that you have to buy things to look good in front of people, look good for other people, look good for society. So you might be buying things that are really expensive, overspending money when you don't really have to. So we do have to notice our spending habits and see if maybe we can reduce some of those expenses and understand that we don't have to look good in front of anyone but ourselves. So we have to understand that it's impacting our finances. It's not impacting other people's finances. So we have to keep that in mind. Last one, money as control. So if you mostly had that one, we do have to be very careful, just because we do want to save money. We do want to be well aware, but sometimes we may overdo it. Sometimes we may not spend money on things that we need. Let's say that we are feeling sick and we don't want to buy medicine or go to the doctor because we're going to be spending money, but it's for our own good. So we do have to have a balance of how we spend money and how we see money as well. Okay? And if you feel comfortable, do you want to share which letter you got, and then if it does fit with you? Anyone?
I got D.
D? Okay. Do you?
So, yeah, I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone? Yeah.
I had D, but I see money more as safety,
Safety. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
more so than as control.
Yeah.
Because it's nice not to have to worry about being a homeless street person.
Correct. No. Yes. Yes. Anyone else wants to share? Yeah.
I also had D, but one of the things is that I know when I went from working and saving to retirement,
Yeah.
and then having to spend, it was like
Yeah.
it was a little bit difficult to kind of change that mindset and to be able to do it. But
No. Yeah.
that's what the money is for, is
Correct.
enjoyment and safety and health reasons. So.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So we're going to move on into influences. So it's going to be external influences, and it's also going to show the way that those influences impact the way that we see money and the way that we spend money as well. So one of the biggest one is going to be ads. So everywhere we go, we see ads. So if we go to the store, we're driving on the freeway, we go to school, anywhere we go, we see ads. Even on social media, on our phone, we see ads. So they do spend a lot of money on creating these ads for us to spend money. And we're going to go over that a little bit more into it later on. Also social media, like I mentioned, on social media, they also have ads for everything, celebrities. So we follow people that we look up to. Sometimes they may be promoting that they have a new product and we want to support that person. So we are spending money on that. Also, let's say that we have people that are always going out every single weekend. They are going on vacations all the time. We may want to do the same thing just because we are seeing those people doing those things. But we don't know how they're doing it. We don't know if they're using their credit cards. We don't know if they're taking out loans. So we don't know how they're doing it to be taking those trips. Another one is family, peers, and friends. Family is the biggest one just because that's the values that we have right now came from our family. So how we see money right now, it's because that's how our family saw money. Some of us may have changed our values on money just because we didn't want to be with that same cycle that our family was in. With peers and friends, similar, if they have a new item, if they have the newest iPhone, we may want to get the newest iPhone just because they have it. If they have nice clothes, we may want to get nice clothes just because they have nice clothes. Past experiences with money, let's say we had a bad experience in the past with a credit card. We may not want to get a credit card just because we think that it's going to be the same thing as the previous time, when a credit card can help us in the future as well. Emotional attachment to finances, let's say that growing up, we were not able to get everything that we wanted. Now that we have money, we may be overspending on things that we want just because we were not able to get that as we were growing up. And those influences can be productive or unproductive. So if they are productive, they're going to help you with your goals. So if you follow people on social media that are talking about money, that are talking about budgeting, credit scores, things like that, they're going to help you. But if you're following people that are just going on vacations, spending money all the time, you may want to spend money as well. So that's when they become unproductive. And it's the same with family members. Sometimes we want to follow our family's advice, but sometimes it's not the best advice. So sometimes we have to talk to other people. We have to do our own research to get to the best solution for the problem that we may have. And going back into ads, so social pressure and advertising, so it's human nature for us to want what other people have. So everyone wants what other people have. I see someone with a nice laptop. I want to have that laptop just because mine is older. It's human nature for us to want what others have. And like I mentioned at the beginning, ads, they do spend a lot of money to convince us to spend money. They know what's going to make us spend money. With social media, with our phones, they have all of the information that they need in order for them to make us, for us to spend money. When we go to the store and we see all of the signs that have 50% off or buy one get one free or last day to purchase this, it's going to make us want to buy those things. That's because we think that we're getting a deal when most of the time it's the same price that they had in the past. I do have an experience with that. I went to a store. They had a shirt for like, was it $7? So, and then I went that same week, a few days later, I went to the same store and they had a sale going on. It was buy one, get one free. The shirt was now $14. So it was pretty much the same price. It was just making it seem like I was getting a deal. So we do have to be careful with that just because, again, they do want you to spend money. They want you to think that you are saving money when you are not. Does anyone have any experience with sales that they thought, yeah?
Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Prime Day. Like, I put it in my cart, I said, I'm gonna save this for Prime
Yeah.
Day. When it comes to Prime Day, I was like, that's the same price.
Yeah. No, yeah?
I don't order it,
Yeah, Amazon Prime is one of the biggest one. So sometimes they market as 80% off when it's the same price that they had it like weeks before. So now they do have a price history that you can check, and you're able to see if the price actually went down or if it's the same. Anyone else has any other experiences with sales, thinking that they're getting a sale?
He loves the 50% off.
Yeah.
You never did it.
Yeah.
I always say it, but I already know that it's not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I always tell her, they're lying, look, they're lying. I already
Yeah.
know they're lying. So, but you're right, I mean, they're always lying, look, it's 50% off,
Yeah.
but it's not true.
Yeah.
But we always say it,
Yeah.
we don't believe it.
Yeah. No, yeah, we.
Oh, you don't have your size? Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Very enticing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you see
But
it.
it's not true, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that.
I have a story.
Yeah.
Because I like all the 50% off and all that. And
Sorry.
just, I went someplace and there was a sale, but I asked them, I said, are there any discounts for, used to say for old people, nice people, they get a laugh out of it, and then they'll look, and a lot of times they'll find something, to give me a discount. But
Yeah.
anyway, this young gal, and I know she's the manager, says, is there any, anything in there for, she says, well, these two items are gonna be on sale tomorrow. So I was like, oh, really? And that was nice of her to tell me, so I had to go back the next day, but still, it was like even more, so
Oh, wow.
being upfront and asking, it doesn't hurt,
Yeah.
so
No, yeah.
worked out.
Yeah. No, yeah. And then sometimes we are able to get a discount if we have coupons or anything like that. Like if we are a rewards member, we may be able to get like 20% off or something like that. Okay. So we have another activity. It's going to be financial experiences. So for the first one, it's going to be describing a positive financial action, situation, or event. So for me, a positive financial action was for me to start a spending plan. In the past, I didn't have a spending plan, so I didn't know where my money was going. Now that I have a spending plan, I know when my payments are coming up, I know the date, I know the amount, and I don't feel as stressed as I used to before. So does anyone else have a positive financial action, situation, or event? Yeah.
I did. I've been on maternity leave since December of 2024.
Okay.
So I haven't gone back to work, but I used up my short-term disability and my paid family leave, and I knew that it was coming in on November 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And situation happened between me and my child's father. So now I'm a single mother. Luckily, I knew how to save.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was able to save with the small amount of money that we were receiving from paid family leave and long-term disability. So even without help from the government, without food stamp, I've been no income since November 20th. And so far, I've only used up $50 on my credit card.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But, so glad because I have prior knowledge that I was ready for the unexpected.
No, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else wants to share a positive financial situation? We'll go here and then we'll go over there. Yes.
Well, I think, you're talking about the envelopes, which I think was a good idea. But I think the credit unions, or at least the one I belong to, they have special holiday accounts, so they'll take your check and then they'll put aside so much that you decide. So it kind of helps you put it aside. They're doing it.
No, yeah.
Or for other things. So kind of a modern day
No, yeah.
envelope.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, that was kind of the same
Okay.
type of thing when I was working for the county. The retirement people said, put $500 or a certain amount of money aside, and it really paid off because I was able to pay for the medical insurance when I retired.
Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And for the next class, we're going to be talking about credit unions and traditional banks. So we're going to be talking about that. And then moving into the next one, describe a negative financial action, situation, or event. I know this one is really difficult because we don't really want to talk about those negative experiences, but it does help us to realize that we have made changes, that we have progressed from the last time. So for me, it was my getting a credit card. I got it when I was 18, but the issue didn't start when I was 18. It was when I was maybe like 22. I was in college. I didn't have money to pay for all of the expenses, so what I did was use a credit card. And I kept swiping and swiping, and I didn't realize that I was already close to the limit. And I didn't have money to pay for that credit card. So what happened is that they ended up closing my account, because I didn't pay for about 3 months, so that's when they closed your account. And it did drop my credit score a lot. So I went from like around a 750 to 500, a 500 credit score. So that's a situation that I went through. I have worked on my credit score, so it has been gone up. But that's something that happened to me, and I wish I had known how to use a credit card for that not to happen. So does anyone else wants to share a negative financial situation, event?
I can share one.
Yeah.
There was a time when I didn't really care. That's swipe.
Yeah.
And I was eating out a lot. And so I ended up asking my older brother for money for helping me pay for rent. Even though, like I said, I could pay you back within next week.
Yeah.
Which I was. But since 2022, I stopped asking him for money. Because I've been pretty solid since.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing
Plus, he
that.
told me no more money. I said, okay, I gotta really figure this out. Tough luck.
No, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else wants to share? No? Okay. We'll move on into the next one. So there are ways for us to stay focused into our goals. So one of the things that we talked about was ads, because that's one of the biggest things that's going on right now. So we have to identify the ways that they are trying to get to us. Like we mentioned, we know that those sales that they say that they are having are not real. But there are other ways for us to see or for us to control the spending that we're doing. So one of the things that we can also do is that if we are going to the store, we're buying several items, we can make a list. If an item is not on the list, we don't buy that item. Another one is only taking the amount of money that we're gonna spend. So if we're planning on spending $100, only taking $100 so we don't overspend. Is there any other ways that you have tried to limit your spending? Yeah.
Using coupon or store advertisement coupon for save money.
Anyone else?
For me, it's using gift cards. I'll often forget that I have a gift card and then I don't use it for a really long time. So using that before I actually use my actual money.
And then sometimes it's also the environment that we're in. Sometimes it's a specific store. So let's say that we like going to Target. We like spending money at Target. We like to go every single weekend. What we can do is that instead of going every single weekend, maybe we can only do it once per month. I know sometimes we do shop at Target, so maybe try to do the list. Instead of just going like that, we can create a list so we don't overspend at that specific store that we like to go. If we know that there's a certain aisle that we tend to get distracted, try to not go to that aisle. That's another way that we can prevent from overspending the money as well. And another way is to think about how much of the hours that we're working are going to be spent on that item. So let's say that we want to buy a $400 item, and we get paid $20 per hour. It's going to take us 20 hours. It's going to take 20 hours of our work to pay for that item. So sometimes we can think of that like, do I really want to spend 20 hours of my day, of my time for that item? To be honest with you, I don't use this method. It doesn't work for me, but it may work for you. It may work for you to maybe think about it this way. So we're going to move on into goals. So goals are what we want for the future. So we can think about our dream life, the lifestyle that we want, dreams that we had as we were growing up. So what do we want for the future? So we can think of maybe saving money. We want to have emergency funds. Maybe we want to save money for a vacation. Maybe we want to go to Italy. Maybe that's a dream that we have. So we do have to save money for those things, and it starts with creating a goal. And one of the things that most people do want to do for a goal is to save money. So for example, this person wants to start an emergency savings of $500 in 10 months. They want to save it on a weekly basis. So they have to divide $500 by 40. They have to save around $12.50 per week in order to have $500 at the end of the 10 months. And when we divide it like this, it seems more possible for us to save that amount. Because if we say we want to save $500, we may not do it just because it seems like a lot. But if we say we want to do it on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis, it seems more manageable. So instead of saving $500 at once, we can do $12.50 per week for 10 months. So has anyone heard of SMART goals? So we're going to be talking about SMART goals. So before I go into that, goals can be short-term, medium-term, or long-term. So if they are short-term, they're like 3 to 6 months. Medium-term, 6 to 12 months, and long-term, anything that's 12 months or more. So SMART goals, it stands for specific, measurable, action-oriented, reachable, and time-bound. So for specific, what exactly do we want to accomplish? Measurable, how much, how many, and how will we know when we have met the goal? Action-oriented, what specific actions do we have to take for us to complete that goal? Reachable, is it something that I can actually do? And time-bound, when do I want to reach this goal by? We're going to go over an example, and you can also start with writing your own financial goals with this handout that we have on the back. So if you want, we can go through the steps, and you can start writing your financial goals. So the way that I do like to tell people how to start their financial goals is to start broad. So let's say that we want to save money. So we have that goal. Then we can be specific. In this case, we're going to use the same example as the one before. I want to start an emergency fund of $500. We're more specific of the amount and the reason why we want to start save this money. So if you want to go ahead and write for the step 1 for S. We're going to move into step 2. Which is M, measurable. So you should be able to track your progress. In this example, this person is going to save $12.50 every week, and they're going to track their progress until they reach the $500. They could either do it through their savings account or saving it in cash. We're going to move to step 3, which is A, action-oriented. You should have concrete steps to achieve your goal. In this example, they're going to set up automatic transfers of $12.50 into their savings account. And we will move into the next step, which is step 4. R, reachable. Your goal should be realistic and attainable. In this case, they are able to save $12.50 because they check their spending plan and they are able to put that amount into their savings account. So step 5, T, time bound, set a deadline for achieving your goal. In this case, they're going to save $500 within 10 months. Okay, and then we'll move on into the next slide. So putting it together. So for this example, they're going to save $500 for their emergency savings by setting automatic transfers of $12.50 per week for 10 months. Does anyone want to share their SMART goal? Yeah.
So mine is to buy a helmet for my daughter. Why is it important to me? Because I don't want her to get picked on. Because her skull shape is not round, perfectly round. Mm-hmm. So yeah, for cosmetic reasons, you know. So that's why I'm getting it. And yes, I really want it. The cost is $4,000 for it. And how will I achieve my goal? Is to go back to work.
Okay.
The specific action is for me to go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Is this goal something I can really achieve? Yes. And then the time limit, when do I reach it? If I put aside $205 a week for 19 weeks, I'll be able to save $4,000 and to pay off for the helmet for her.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else wants to share their goal? Yeah.
I wanted to start a fund for my granddaughter for education, for college education. So I was thinking $100 a month.
Yeah.
I'd set up automatic transfers, probably 18 years.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
only,
Okay.
It's only a year.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else wants to share their goal?
Cash, before your daughter, make sure you talk to your bank, you know, to see what would be the best route for your granddaughter. Mm-hmm. You know, so see, because there's a whole bunch of different ones out there.
Yeah.
So make sure which one will fit your needs.
Yeah.
Because some that you can't touch until they're 18, or some that you can't pull out money earlier than before, and then some are penalties. So look into that and see which one would be good. So instead of just putting in there, invest.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. And then we are more likely to achieve our goals if we write them down, which we did that step already. If we post them, so we can maybe put it on a sticky note, we can put it somewhere that we are able to see it every single day, maybe on the fridge, maybe on the mirror, somewhere that we are able to see it every single day to remind us that we have that specific goal that we want to accomplish. Sometimes if we share them with people close to us, they can also help us to keep us motivated to reach that goal. And also focus. So it does help us by focusing on not spending so much money, because we know that we have this specific goal. Maybe it's saving money. We have to save money for that goal that we have. If we want to take a trip, we have to save money for that specific trip. So that's all of the slides that I have. Again, SparkPoint OC, if you're interested, you can scan the QR code or go to the website. For the next class, it's going to be in the same location. So it's going to be next month on the 11th, same time, and I should be on the same location. Thank you all for being here. I hope to see you all for the next class as well. All right. Thank you.